Good morning, everyone. Today, we are looking at one of the best pictures of Justin Trudeau I've ever seen. It's pretty funny. This is recent. I saw this the other day, and who sits this prime minister underneath that sign and says, good, take it, print it, send it out? Good job, guys. Good job, you handlers, you. I tried to open the big image. I feel like Us Magazine, do you guys know Us Magazine or People Magazine, Star Magazine? I feel like Canadian politics could actually handle a weekly magazine just like that, just looking at the missteps of this ridiculous government. It's incredible. Really, I think it would work. People would read about it. And then they get mad about politics. We should really have something like that. Here's another thing to get mad about. Remember when John Tory had the leadership of the Progressive Conservative Party, the Ontario Progressive Conservative Party, and then he lost that election because he said that actually all religious schools should have funding. Instead of, people were pushing for removal of the Catholic system back then, and this is before Tim Hudak took control of the party. And he was saying, yes, instead of removing the Catholic funding, we should fund all religious schools. All religious schools should get funding. And then he really lost, really lost. So anyway, this is a meme I came across, and it makes a point that I hadn't considered. This is quite possibly going to happen. Watch for this to happen. And remember that John Tory owns Rogers. He's a member of the Rogers Control Board, the Rogers Control Trust, and this is a private company whose job it is to make money. It is a media company, and, well, John Tory owns it. He's part of the 5 or 10 people who make up the board that makes the choices for $30 billion Rogers. Okay. And he's written to the Premier and the Prime Minister in his official capacity as the Mayor on behalf of Bell. Weird, right? Yeah, weird. Anyway, here's the meme. Toronto, an old man, bitter he was never elected Premier, was going door to door today, spreading fake news about non-existent spending cuts the Ontario government was supposedly doing. Mayor John Tory, who, as a far-left Liberal, once tried running for office as a Conservative and was soundly defeated, was out repeating the lies that the media were manufacturing about the new Ontario government. One can only assume this is a run-up to his eventual run for the leadership of the Liberal Party of Ontario. How scary is that? Can you imagine the mayor of Toronto, the guy who almost single-handedly shut down Faith Goldie to the celebration of a city, running for the Liberal Party? Ugh. Here is just, I've got a little montage to show you. And I think it's very funny because this is people ignoring Justin Trudeau's warnings and or, statements and or just making him look foolish. But I've got 2. We'll start with this one. Remember this? This is the digital charter that everybody is just hoping kind of goes away when Justin Trudeau is removed in October, right? Like this is going to be mothballed. This is ridiculous. And not a good idea. But remember what he said? This was his introduction. I tried to show this the other day and it didn't work. It'll work today. And we'll just listen to the last part. And he growls when he says consequences. Urgh.
And if they don't, we will hold them to account and there will be meaningful financial consequences. The platforms.
Consequences. Right? And promptly, the Post-Millennial is reporting, quote, CBC program that hosted Omar Khadr has been suspended from Twitter for glorifying terrorism. Consequences, right? I am Batman. So, and here's Justin Trudeau letting us know that Jody Wilson-Raybould's continued presence in cabinet speaks for itself.
And I also highlight that we're bound by cabinet confidentiality. In our system of government, of course, her presence in cabinet should actually speak for itself.
Right, it should, right? And then the next day, this is released. Wilson-Raybould says her resignation from cabinet speaks for itself. Oh, Justin Trudeau. Terrible missteps after terrible missteps. Okay, this is the meat of this video. We were just laughing away the Sunday morning. And today it's about Mark Norman. And Dr. Jacobs is tweeting, quote, in a spectacular display of the hollowness of General Vance and Saijan's apologies to Norman, the Vice Admiral has still not been reinstated, and this was yesterday. And I'm just looking at the headline here because there's another point I want to make, but it says Mark Norman and General Vance have cordial first meeting, but naval officers still not back in position. And here is Don Martin's Sunday morning piece, I suppose. Or no, I guess it was the other day, 2 days ago. But I liked it, and I'm going to read it because it's interesting. CTV News is reporting, General Vance's leadership is no longer worth saluting. And this is an opinion piece. Don Martin's an opinion guy, but I like him, so here we go. Beyond Chief of Defense Staff Jonathan Vance's rushed judge, jury, and execution of Vice Admiral Mark Norman, other issues are starting to make the hefty pay raise given to him this week by Justin Trudeau fall somewhere between inexplicable and laughable. For starters, his signature launch of Operation Honor 4 years ago to eradicate sexual misconduct in the forces has resulted in a dishonorable level of non-achievement. The number of armed forces personnel reporting sexual assaults in this week's report was down only marginally. But another military maneuver this month raises serious concerns about whether Vance has lost his moral leadership compass. The invitation-only dedication of the Kandahar Memorial deep inside security access zone of the department's Ottawa headquarters is a major black mark on Vance's 4-year record on the job. How can a former commander of the Canadian Task Force in Kandahar look out over a top brass audience devoid of any family, friends, or directly affected armed forces personnel and not grasp that something profound was missing at a memorial dedicated to fallen soldiers? Yet, incredibly, he not only overlooked it, but neglected to tell impacted families or the public about it for several days. That defies comprehension. As former top general Rick Hillard told me this week, quote, "I'm perplexed as to why this occurred in this manner. It could have been such a positive, credibility-enhancing event, and now it's the opposite." Exactly right. It's the opposite of enhanced leadership credibility. Confronted with this severely lapsed judgment, Vance meekly announced that this presumably costly internal display area would be relocated to the inconveniently located headquarters lobby. If Vance can't deliver and dedicate a proper memorial to the Kandahar dead 6 years after the polished granite plaques were repatriated from Kandahar, it's got to red flag concerns about how he leads on live military matters. That may explain whispers he'll soon be replaced. When you're Canada's Chief of Defensive Staff, respect is commanded by the stripes on your uniform. But to make it work, respect must also be earned from the soldiers serving below you. Given his recent sad performances, Jonathan Vance's leadership is no longer worth saluting. And I agree with you, sir. And my goodness, when our top brass is in this much trouble, when our top brass is behaving in this way and not meaningfully moving Canada forward and keeping us safe, but instead playing political games with vice admirals who are doing their job by delivering ships on time, on budget, man, it makes me wonder what the rest of our government is up to. What's happening behind closed doors. Transparency is not Mr. Trudeau's strong point, and neither is bullying social media or bullying former cabinet ministers, right? It doesn't look like much these days is Justin Trudeau's strong suit. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out thepeoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful day.